no one wants to take the long route, etc. But what I do know is the hardest routes lead to the most beautiful destinations. When it comes to being successful, there is no shortcuts. There is no 4-hour work week. It's about conditioning yourself to being able to withstand whatever it is, the journey that you're about to embark on.
Welcome back to the Cash Flow Podcast. Your host, Jason Yoss. This is the podcast where we talk about turning properties into profits. I'm here with my guest today, Devin Ortiz. Devin, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you.
Hey, and special after the Veterans Day weekend, and as well as a blessing as well.
Yeah, it's been a great week. Excited to hop on here and let's get into it.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
So, end of an election, end of 2024. What are you focusing on? Where's your head at right now?
Personally or business?
A little bit of both, man. A little bit of both.
I would say personal, just closing out the year of 2024, getting ready for a big build-out project on one of my properties in Ocean Beach. So that's going to commence after I could get the most juice out the squeeze for the short-term rentals in the summer. So I'm planning on about September, October 1 to commence construction down there. So not trying to do too much on my personal portfolio when it comes to that, and business. Personally, just sitting still, listening to the internal message, connecting, deepening the faith, and it's been a big self-development year as well as over the past few years. So I feel like a lot of my journeys that we previously talked about, whether it's through ayahuasca, to many of the other things that they give us when you transition out the service, whether it's therapy, you name it. I feel like I'm really starting to gain traction as far as taking all the different pieces of the puzzle for healing. And, man, just like I said, direction is more important than speed, and leveraging the traction to get to where I want to go. I feel really good.
You don't think
these
so?
days.
You haven't been as restless as in the past. We talked about like focusing on this over here and that over there. You feel like you've kind of settled into a groove right now?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a groove, and I feel like 2025 is going to produce the best Devin Ortiz ever walked this earth. So I'm very excited for 2025.
I love that, and I'm glad you set it up in that manner. You talked about your personal investments. Okay, let me ask you, investment-wise, are there still good investments out there for our population looking to buy, looking to find a property to get into here in San Diego, here in California in general?
Yeah, still phenomenal investments. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually have a screenshot that I just broke down for a service member recently, and it's not necessarily just for service members. This is a strategy that I use for most people purchasing in this market. And when it comes to purchasing in general, but especially in this market, would you agree that you have to have foresight and vision?
If you're not paying attention, if you don't have a goal in mind, what are you doing? Okay, who knows what you're going to get if you don't have that focus, that goal?
Yeah, 100%. As well as the interest rates are not favorable. The payment is not favorable, especially because we tend to reflect so much in the past. And in recent history, we have such favorable interest rates and payments.
You're not getting 3% anymore, are you?
It's very much a challenge when you see the payments these days. So let me just give you an example of what we just broke down. $1,169,000 purchase price on a multi-unit. Current interest rate, 6%. The payment was looking at $8,363 per month.
What kind of loan are they getting?
That's a VA loan, $0 down, multi-unit, 4 units purchasing. Payment is $8,300 a month.
I love it when you say multifamily and VA. We're both veterans. That's how we want to get into stuff. No money down. Let's go.
So we're really taking the current market conditions in the situation, leveraging it against sellers right now. This example had a $50,000 credit coming from the seller, specifically only for interest rate buy down.
Perfect.
So first year payment was reduced from $8,363 to $6,283.
Huge.
Which allows you to get into the home for $6,200. Now you divide that by 4 units. You can easily make that payment regardless of any county that you're in or whatnot.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have the juiciest rents.
Yep.
Second year, that payment jumps up to $6,900. So you have 24 months from the date you enter into that property to turn the units, renovate them, re-rent them, and start getting the juicy rent. So it allows you 24 months of breathing room in order to execute the game plan, which also, I'm not an economist as well as I don't have a crystal ball, but from what I hear from people a lot smarter than me that dig into the economics, that within the next 18 months, we should significantly have reduced interest rates from where we're at currently. And I think with the new election and what the American people just voted on and who they've elected, that should be pretty nails as far as an estimate. 18 months, you should be able to refinance and adjust the payment. So imagine a recap and a long-winded answer right now. $1,169,000 acquisition for a single service member E5 getting into a property, 4 units, reducing a first-year payment from $8,300 to $6,200. He's going to take his capital, either build an additional unit or add square footage to 2 of the 1-bedrooms and turn those into 2-bedroom, 2-baths to increase the rent, and it's going to put him positive cash flow position at that 24-month mark. While also the variable is how low is he going to be able to reduce his interest rate in that 18 to 24 months. Only God knows at this point, but we know it's going to be a lot lower than what he'll currently have.
100%.
As well as one other point, and sorry to cut you off.
No, go.
What I love about those accelerated buy downs in this example is any unused capital when you refinance goes towards your principal balance, opposed to when you have a long-term buy down and you take $50,000 to buy it down, you lose all that money when the interest rates drop.
Okay, first off, I love the way you unpack that. That's a huge example of how it's going to get done for our service members, our vets. Second of all, just from a property management perspective, you're going to get $2,000 in rent. I don't care where you are, especially in San Diego County, no matter what. And if you do those upgrades, that rent is only likely to improve. So 4 units getting on average of $2,000. Well, there you go. There's your $8,000 right there. So you do have cash flow coming in. And then the last part, like you said, not only are you fixing up units, you could put more units on there. All right. And within that 18 to 24 month time frame, if you get on it right away, if you have a plan, you can get your permits, you can get it shovel ready, and then you might be able to refinance, get a bridge loan. You have options. And that sounds to me like a much better plan than just getting a single family home. Nothing against single family home, but multifamily, the way you break in that market, I love it.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of all my single family and only going to hold multi-units in my portfolio moving forward. And with that game plan for that service member, 24 months is enough to design, submit, approve, and build whatever it is you're looking to build within 24 months, as long as you don't hesitate. And that's not a crazy ambitious timeline whatsoever.
No, not at all.
As well as when you build into the escrow process, you're getting all those service vendors on site, so you're really starting before you actually own the property in the first place. And then the other thing, how much is this property going to go up in value by the time he's done with construction, that 24 months, and then the ability to 100% refinance at that time, where the VA is not going to increase your interest rate for cash out. You're going to get the same interest rate based on whether you cash out or it's a VA IRRRL, you name it. So a lot of different variables, a lot of very technical things on the background, but we create a specific formula designed for every single service member, their family, what's their risk tolerance, what's their goals. So every single person ends up with a thumbprint type of approach, opposed to a cookie cutter, we're going to put you in the same box as everyone
and we're going to talk risk tolerance in a second, because I know that's a big theme of what you preach to your clients is goals and risk tolerance. But there's an additional savings that you hadn't mentioned, but we've talked about it before. Talk about knowing your tax savings.
Oh, the tax savings is huge. Now, I'm not tax professional nor CPA, and I can't give tax advice. But what what I can tell you is that my tax people crush it every single year, and it's very eye-opening with my very first property, when I brought in a form called 1098 that tells the CPA how much interest, property taxes you pay during your mortgage, and I got bigger tax returns back every year. So really understanding that is something that I feel like 99% of all consumers that are even purchasing don't really weigh into consideration to equal out your tax situation, whether you're W-2, 1099, et cetera. So that's definitely a good foresight, and thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of people don't take into consideration. And it could be, I've heard from some of my past clients that they've gotten up to $12,000 back.
Right.
In addition to what they've already paid, the whole 9 yards.
And that's just $12,000 as an example. That's $1,000 extra buying power or payment power a month that you're using for that property versus if you're renting, well, you don't have it.
You don't have it.
I love it. All right, let me get into, with the market being changed, let's talk about something I love to hear from you, goals and risk tolerance. What are we talking to people right now about? What should their goals be, and how does risk tolerance play a factor into, again, that example you just used? Like, why aren't more people jumping on that? I mean, that was a cookie cutter. Like, if you do this, look at the numbers, they win. Why aren't more people doing this?
Because they don't have the information needed to make a well-informed decision. I feel like a lot of people are also beat up from the switch in the economy, going from Trump's administration to Biden's. Interest rates never dropped one time during Biden's administration. So everyone beats themselves up because hindsight's always 20/20.
Right.
And so we have to find the dreamers. We have to find the visionaries. We have to find the people that have also been beat up for so long, where they maybe have missed a few waves. Maybe they should have bought in 09 to 2013 to 2018 and didn't. Then it got competitive in 2020 and 2021, and they're not going to compete with 30, 40, 50 offers. Now they're ending up transitioning into 2025, and they're just like, enough is enough.
Right.
I don't care about what the news says or what's good or bad. If we don't make the jump now, we're never going to be able to purchase, or we're never going to purchase. So let's get into it, you know?
Do you see a lot of those families come to you and say, look, Devin, I can't afford in San Diego. What if I looked at another state? When somebody comes to you like that, how do you approach that?
Yeah, I love it. It just depends. Are you okay with living in a different state for the long term? Don't move out of state if you don't plan on being there for 10 years.
Right.
So that's fine, and I can help you in all 50 states, United States territories.
Right.
It's how you're going to live your life, et cetera. I don't mind. I don't try and funnel people into purchasing just in San Diego or Southern California because it's not best for everybody. But what I do know is that homeownership is what's best for everybody. Getting into rentals has changed my life. Yeah. So I only teach what I've personally done.
Right.
And I sit down with people and just say, hey, where are you? Where do you want to go in life? Nothing to do with real estate. Your risk tolerance, how much are you saving now? What are your other investments? When do you plan on retiring? When would you like to retire? Because there's a big difference on when you're planning and when you would like to retire. Right. And then how do we reverse engineer a game plan to find some financial security, passive income, especially when it comes to veterans? You don't allow $1 million tool to sit on the sidelines and not use it. So then from there, we just create a game plan, have a realistic conversation, and humanize the sales process. Every single person's situation is going to be different. I feel like I can really relate to mostly every single person based upon the chapters of my life and the things that I've gone through.
Right.
People don't move forward because they don't have clarity. Mm-hmm. People don't move forward because they don't have the information needed. Right. And so when I'm able to provide clarity, the information needed, as well as success stories of proven real-life people that have been able to define the odds, leverage the loan product to create passive income and now financial freedom, they say, hey, this is the type of family. And I'll lay out multiple families. The first-time home buyer family, the first investment purchase, the multi- unit and adding more units like an investment buyer. And so I'll give them all the real life examples and say, which type of family would you like to emulate moving forward? Yep. And they pick it because people support what they create.
That's absolutely phenomenal, the way you're able to show that visualization. It's, again, and I bring it back to veterans, like, what kind of family do you want to be? Talk to me about the discipline approach. You said something really eye-opening to me. You said, like, raise your hand for me. And then, yeah, I mean, that was a good one. And he's like, why didn't you raise it all the way up to the top? So talk to me about that discipline and why is it that we're not all given 100% when it comes to something that's so important like this?
I think it is in our human nature innately how we've been raised and ways to cut corners, streamline the process. Yeah. We got Uber Eats, we got the microwave, we have the express lanes. No one wants to take the long route, etc. Right. But what I do know is the hardest routes lead to most beautiful destinations. And when it comes to being successful, there is no shortcuts. There is no 4-hour work week. It's about conditioning yourself to being able to withstand whatever it is, the journey that you're about to embark on.
Right.
Because if you're resilient for long enough, with that consistency, you will be successful. So one of the greatest things that I heard, which was starting off a speech, was, hey, everyone in the room raise their hand.
Right.
And then he said, raise it a little bit higher.
Right.
And he said, why didn't you give 100% the first time?
Yeah.
I was just blown back, and I was like, that is the thing that you have to attack.
Right.
You have to give 100% everything that you do every single day, and you allow God, grace, Allah, Buddha, the universe, Mother Nature, whatever it is you believe in, I believe it's the same thing, to take care of itself. Allow everything to fall into place as it may be, and you just control how much effort you put into your daily life, individual tasks. And it goes down to just simple, but as hard as this. And most things are simple. It's just hard to actually do it.
Yep.
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
And, there's a lot of people who struggle with discipline, with, getting after it. But,
I struggle with it every day.
I struggle with it too.
And you will always struggle. It just becomes easier, like Joe Rogan says, to conquer your inner bitch when you consistently are willing to fight it. It's the same discipline it takes to not hit snooze on your alarm, to make your bed, to wash your dishes, to do those type of things. Same thing it takes in real estate investment, in raising your children, everything. It's that little part of you that says, slow down, take a day off, hit snooze, wash the dishes later. If you can attack that and callous your mind and just go, the sky's the limit for you.
And for the people that sometimes we're surrounded by who don't have that attitude, I don't want to knock them, but how do you approach it? Hey, that's not for me? Or
I used to not have that attitude.
Man, I can't see that. Come on, man.
I used to only want to make $100 a day, have an annual bus pass.
That's not enough.
Have an annual bus pass. I would cut corners. I'll be like, done is better than perfect. Come on, let's move forward. It's all good,
Yeah.
I wasn't the type where I was going to measure twice and cut once. So I'll just cut more wood. It's okay. And so I really had to retool that. And so I chose journeys, and I chose people around me and coaches and mentors, people I wanted to emulate. And the number one thing that I saw in regards to people I started surrounding myself with, which was they never cut corners.
Right.
And that no matter how long it takes, you give 100% effort, you allow that to yield the results, you're going to be good to go. It's the effort approach within us. So, I think the golden ticket is different for everybody, but I think the more that you could just do the hard things, and it sucks, callous your mind. It never gets easier for me to wake up.
Nope.
Nothing. But there's something in you that gets easier when addressing that. I've been here before 10,000 times now, so it's a lot easier than the first 10.
There's nothing more valuable than experience. So when you've gone through it once, twice, multiple times, that hard effort, it doesn't require as much because you're able to do more. You've been there. And let's transition that to veterans. You talk to me about, and we talk about this a lot, how are we going to help our fellow veteran? I know you have a plan in mind. You've been working on something. Talk to me about what you have going on right now.
Yeah, I'm proud to announce the official launch of Veteran Millionaire Academy.
Right.
It's because I purchased my very first property while being in the service with an FHA loan.
Right.
That was the first time that I realized there was a massive issue within the service and our benefits and educating us, where people are like, oh, use your VA loan. I'm like, what is that? I bought it with the FHA loan because the real estate agent, the lender, told me that this is the loan, etc.
Crazy.
So just taking all my tens of thousands of hours, 11 years of investing in real estate, packaging it up, all the hundreds of seminars I've done on and off base, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families that I've served with successful closings, saving my buyers millions of dollars, protecting my sellers' equity. All that experience, my blood, sweat, and tears, my nice weekends, holidays away from families, just dedicated to the craft, packaging this up and being able to distribute it to every single active duty service member or anyone that has ever served, regardless on what time zone they're in. Because I realized, man, I'm waking up to help this lieutenant in Japan to someone in the Middle East.
Right.
Because I'm flexing my time frame because they're serving our country, and I want to be able to give them all the information needed to make a well-informed decision, not shortchange them. Right. But I'm like, this isn't scalable, this isn't conducive, and maybe they don't want to be up at the time. So I built something where they could log in modular base and be able to get this education whenever they may see fit. So Veteran Millionaire Academy is officially live. I've been working on that all year long, and so I'm very proud of the model, everything that we've put into this, and I'm excited about what it's going to do for our fellow service members.
One of the huge takeaways that I got listening to you describe it when we talked before was current service members. You don't have to just be out. And again, if you're out, obviously we still want you to come back and learn, but current service members, people who are in right now, okay, who you got your VA right away, man. You're in. You have access to that VA loan. You can invest. You can buy a property. I think I heard you once say, well, you should be buying something by every duty station if that works. I mean, they can actually enroll and learn while still on active duty. That's huge.
Yeah, as well as our first course, which is our free mini course. I just said it's free, so there's no anything. You just go ahead, take it, learn it. Then from there, we have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, depending on how far you want to go in the investment journey. You have all of our tools, our spreadsheets, how we underwrite deals, the whole 9 yards. You get a monthly coaching session, free Q&A. You get all the resources. We guarantee you your pre-approval, a lender that can close the VA loan in less than 12 days. Fully underwrite you. Like, you will have everything that you need in order to proceed forward and purchase in any market, regardless of economic conditions, and have a battle plan and a bulletproof blueprint that I've personally used to build a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio.
What are we doing not correct as veterans when it comes to this type of thing? I mean, that's why you put the program together. What are we not doing right?
I don't think it's what we're not doing right. I think the system is not built for your success. And people don't like to hear that because we're working for the government, we're working for the system, etc. But you have to understand, if you're oblivious to there's a system, there's a framework, and there's only a certain amount of people they want to use the actual loan product, then you couldn't be further from the truth. Because if they wanted us to truly know, there would be some type of standardized education in regards to how to leverage the loan product, and there's not. So they want to take back that BAH from you and put you on base housing. I don't think it's us. I don't think it's the people. I think it's a fight between I don't know really how to say this without sounding like a conspiracy theorist per se.
Right.
It's just sad that truly they don't want you to use it and succeed, but that's the way that the entire model is built.
If you look at the number of active duty military they're actually using their VA, the number is it's staggeringly low. It's way less than 30%. So I was blown away when I pulled that number up. Now I don't know what it is, people out of the military, but in the military, it's
that's
such a low number.
30% of all people to have ever served the nation, ever. So you're talking about lineage upon lineage and lineage. That you're talking about, because some people, right? You have your great grandfather that was in your the whole duty, 9 yards, right?
So it just blows me away. I don't want to. I agree with you. I don't want to say conspiracy theory, but your thrift savings plan. I know a ton of Marines who are like, "Hey, man, you got to sign up for that thrift savings plan. What is this? Just put your name here." Like, they don't have that with the VA loan. They don't sit you down there when you first get in and go, "Here we go, VA loan," and then when you get your A school, your B school, like, "Hey, have you looked into your VA loan?"
Yeah.
Like, they don't do that. I wonder if they don't want you to use that money, huh? No, and I appreciate that. And again, we're not trying to dig a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but I do think that more veterans need to do it. Okay, so we have a course, we have a design for veterans. Okay, when do you plan on rolling this out, and how many students do you think that you're going to handle in your first 6 months? What's your goal?
First 6 months, we would like to get at least 1,000 students
Wow.
into the course in the first 6 months. Our goal is to be the #1 VA education platform in the entire country, and I don't see any reason why that's not attainable. The hardest part is just getting it in front of service members, active duty, veterans, retirees, National Guardmen, reservists, etc. That's the hardest part, is just getting it in front, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So if 30% of anyone that have ever served is not going to use their VA loans because they don't know, so it's the marketing effort, it's getting out there, but it's a real pound the pavement type of approach, as well as a lot of marketing dollars behind to try and get it out to people all throughout the nation and the world. So
you've been doing your part though for so long. I mean, this focus. How have you gone about getting such a huge following of veterans who are regularly pursuing your information, your content? Like, how's that worked?
It's been blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
It's everyone I come across that's a veteran, talk to them about it, see what's going on. Have they ever used it? Have they taken a class, a course, you name it? Every open house that I do, I ask, are you a veteran, or are you married to a service member, etc.? Teaching on as many bases as possible, leveraging my previous connections, being in and people ranking up and getting to the other duty stations and calling me in there. But that's the only way. It's really a grassroots approach, meeting as many veterans as possible, hopping on their podcast and just speaking about it. That's really the only way to get it done.
Look, I appreciate everything that you've done for our community. Again, there's not a lot of us who are constantly giving back. You're one of the people who are always like, we're thinking veteran first. That's it's a big shout out, big testament to where your mindset is. Leave us with one thing and we're coming up short. We've already been chatting for almost 30 minutes.
That's crazy. I felt like we just started. Let's get another 30 minutes in here. We're just getting warmed up.
Every time you sit down, man, because we're so passionate about, not only just real estate and making good investment decisions, but also supporting our veterans. Leave me with one thing that you want our veterans to know that you've been leaning on to be successful, that is going to help them not just get through this week, but also be successful for their family. I don't mean to put you on the spot like that, but you've had success. I want you to tell everybody, here's one thing that I want you to focus on right now.
I want you to ask yourself, how do I find a way? There's not the way. There's not Jason's way, Devin's way, any other way. How do I find a way? What is our way? And it goes through everything that we touched base upon earlier. What's your risk tolerance? What are you willing to do, not do, the whole 9 yards? And then find a way to get to the point in which you can get out of the rat wheel of life, because it grinds us to a pulp. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's so expensive to buy groceries these days. Everything is so expensive. But don't run from the numbers. Lean into how expensive it is and find a way to leverage your VA home loan in order to offset the financial burden through real estate investing with it, and leverage it as a wealth building tool. That's the way I was able to go from a high school dropout to a millionaire by the age of 30 years old. And I'm ranked number 4 at Real Broker. It's not to impress you, but to impress upon you that this blueprint really works. And all the hundreds of families that I've helped are living a much better life because of it. So I can only speak in regards to leveraging debt, leveraging the VA home loan in order to get out the rat wheel of life.
That was awesome. Hey, man, I love it. And more, and look, again, happy Veterans Day to you. Happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. I know they're going to hear this more than just right after Veterans Day, but lean in. Know that you got a VA loan that can really help you get out of here, out of that rat race. And most importantly, hey, get your goal, get your risk tolerance, and let's get it done.
Go to vetmillacademy.com, vetmillacademy.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Devin Ortiz, DEVEN ORTIZ. You can go in the bio link right there. You can click it. You can get your free course right there. I'm going to give you my blueprint on how I went from that high school dropout to no sales experience, transitioning out of the military in 2019 to building $1 million income producing business within 36 months. and a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio with the VA home loan. All of our Excel sheets, how we underwrite deals, our vendors, case studies, success stories. You have access to myself, the whole lending crew, everyone that I utilize. And so go out, go to vetmillacademy.com, work at your own pace. Yep. We're here for you. We're here to support you. We're stronger together. Each one teach one, baby. Let's go.
Love it, man. Thank you again. I appreciate it. Everybody out there, thanks for tuning into Cash Flow, the podcast we talk about turning properties into profits.